YouTube. You want to learn how to make your own Burger King Whopper? Well, here you go. Let's get into it.
It looks like they finally took my advice. I really don't like modern art on burger and or fast food bags. Just call yourself what you are. Disgusting. These are bigger than I expected. I don't want to eat that. Why is it so stinky? So we got an extra patty. What are these follicles? This smells exactly like a cafeteria burger. Remember when you were in school and you pull up and you're like, I'll have a burger, and then you just get this, you get this. Vic, can I get a smell test on this, please? Tell me what kind of memories come back. Just not even McDonald's will go this far. I'm sorry, I'm like stalling because I don't want to eat this. This is really bad. If I can't outdo this burger, I will go work for Burger King. Oh, it's fine. It's in a better place.
We've done many burgers on this series, so how do we make this one different? Don't you worry, brother, I got some things up my sleeve. Now first up is our buns. Look, I really want to change this up. I want to try to make these buns so soft, so irresistibly chewy, that it's like it came out of a factory, much like all the other fast food buns actually literally do. So we're going to use the multi-purpose bun dough that's in my cookbook as a base and add some fancy science stuff. But if you don't have my book, first off, ouch, link in the description, but I'll tell you it anyway. Here it is. When you look at this recipe, it has a tang zong in it. So first off, toss that out the window. We're not gonna be using that in this recipe. Instead, start off with the listed half a cup or 125 milliliters of whole milk, and this time, half a cup plus 3 tablespoons or a grand total of 170 milliliters of water. So this dough is slightly more wet. Papa's wet dough. To that, you'll whisk in 2.5 teaspoons or 9 grams of specifically bread machine yeast instead of instant yeast. Bread machine yeast has dough conditioners that'll help soften the dough up. Whisk that together till dissolved, then add that to the bottom of your stand mixer along with 1 egg and 1 egg yolk whisked. Begin mixing that on medium-low speed, then in a separate bowl with 3.5 cups or 525 grams of bread flour, add a 1/3 cup or 60 grams of granulated sugar and 4 grams of amylase. Amylase? Amylase? Hold up, Josh, what in tarnation is that? Amylase enzyme is, well, an enzyme that's used as yet another dough conditioner. God, that term sounds so weird. The point is that it's going to help get you that commercial bread softness, the texture that you want, and it'll last a little longer by helping convert starches to sugars, etc. Fun fact, it's the same stuff that your mouth naturally produces. Gross. Anyway, whisk that together and add that to your stand mixer while it's running about a 1/4 cup at a time until all of your flour is added. Then after mixing for about 1 to 2 minutes and you have sort of a smooth dough starting to form, add 3.5 tablespoons or 50 grams of unsalted softened butter. Let that incorporate into the dough and allow that to mix and knead on low until completely smooth and pulling from the sides of the bowl, about 10 minutes. Then pull it out, give it a few slap and folds on a work surface, roll it into a ball and place in a greased bowl. So here's what we changed. We added more hydration, we added dough conditioners, we added sugar, and we added more butter. Wow, it's like we're in a commercial factory or something now. It's like I'm just over in the corner clanging and banging on some big old Hobart mixers. Anyway, cover that with plastic wrap, give it a name worthy of holding the BK Whopper title, and let that rise for 45 minutes at room temperature. Then pop it into the fridge for another 1.5 hours to slow proof. Obviously, during that time, you should prep all of your other ingredients, but thanks to movie magic, it's done rising. Break that down into 90-gram pieces, which will get you about 8 to 10 pieces of dough. Get yourself a baking sheet, spray with cooking spray, lay down a sheet of parchment, and then lay out 3.5-inch English muffin ring molds. Now, I actually didn't have any, so I made my own with foil. It's a wee bit janky, but you know what? I think they look pretty good. You can call me Engineer Josh, all right? I engineer things. Spray those guys with cooking spray, roll your pieces of dough into taut balls, and then place them right in the center of your ring molds. Spray their tops with oil, then using a flat-bottomed cup, press them down lightly to form fat discs. Lightly tent with plastic wrap and proof for 1 hour at room temperature. Take the plastic wrap off and to egg wash them, mix together 1 to 2 eggs with 1.5 tablespoons of water, and instead of brushing it on this time, we're gonna add it to a spray bottle and give all of your pieces of dough a nice, even coating. You like that method? Why use a brush when you can just shower them? You know, sort of like a golden shower. Wait a minute, that's going a direction I don't want it to. Just spray them. Once sprayed, sprinkle with sesame seeds and pop into an oven set to 375 Fahrenheit for 14 minutes or until a beautifully golden brown, evenly colored bun emerges. Let those cool slightly and carefully remove the ring molds. Yes, it's hot. Give them a light brushing with melted butter. Probably would have been smart to take my own advice and give them a nice golden spritz with melted butter, but hey, you live and you learn. Optionally, add some flaky salt and your buns are done. Let those cool completely and simply marvel at buns that are as soft as mass-manufactured buns. But you know, with actual flavor. I mean, look at the way that this squishes. I have to look away as to avoid having
a good old-fashioned buzz.
Alright, during all that waiting time while you're making these buns, you should make the other elements of the burger. So let's start with dill pickles. You best believe we're making our own, which is very easy, so wipe your little tears. Papa's here. Did you drink water today? Start off with a big old seedless cucumber, cut off the ends, and slice into 1/4 inch thick rounds. Pop that bad boy into a large 1.5 quart jar or larger, then in a medium sauce pot add 2 cups or 416 grams of water, 1.5 cups or 306 grams of white distilled vinegar, 2 tablespoons or 19 grams of kosher salt, a bay leaf crushed, then in a nice net of cheesecloth, add 1 tablespoon or 9 grams of peppercorns, 1 tablespoon or 10 grams of mustard seeds, 2 tablespoons or 8 grams of coriander seeds, and 1 tablespoon or 8 grams of dill seed. Gather up the sides, twist it to make a little sack, tie off the top with kitchen twine, and you have your sack. Or full of turmeric spice, bring them to a boil and immediately cut off the heat. Pour that hot liquid over your cukes, add in 1 bunch of dill and 3 or 4 cloves of garlic lightly crushed, and let that sit until it comes to room temperature. Then once it's cooled, you have pickles. Wow. Next up, mayo. You know, Burger King seems to really have a thing for mayo, so we're gonna make our own instead of using something that's been in a packet since 1946. In a medium-sized bowl, add 1 egg yolk, 1 tablespoon or 18 grams of Dijon mustard, 1 teaspoon or 5 grams of sugar, 1 clove of garlic grated, salt to taste, and the juice from 1 whole lemon. Whisk all that together, and then while constantly whisking, you're gonna slowly add in 1 cup or 191 grams of vegetable oil using my squirt bottle drizzle technique to add it in an even stream. But first you'll start drop by drop, and then once it begins to emulsify, increase that speed to a nice drizzle while constantly whisking until all of your oil is added. If it's still not thick enough, keep adding oil until it reaches this consistency right here. Once done, place your mayo in the fridge until needed. One of the weirder elements of this burger is that ketchup is a key ingredient, which I've not really been that much of a fan of doing that, but you know what, we gotta stay true to the BK version. To treat my echoing cries in the night caused by this combo, here's a spicy ketchup. In a small bowl, add 3/4 of a cup or 215 grams of ketchup, half a teaspoon or 2 grams of cayenne powder, 1 tablespoon or 8 grams of Aleppo powder, 1 teaspoon or 4 grams of garlic powder, and 1 teaspoon or 5 grams of Worcestershire sauce. I think I pretty much nailed that pronunciation there. Whisk all that together till thoroughly combined, and that is your spicy ketchup. Of course, next we have our vegetables: tomato, lettuce, and onion. The iceberg lettuce is self-explanatory, but I recommend that you slice it as thinly as possible so you get some nice thin stacks rather than chunky, poopy lettuce like Burger King. For the onion, the same goes, except you're gonna slice it against the grain of the onion as thinly as you can to get beautiful, sharp, moon-shaped julienne. To calm the aggressiveness of the onion and allow its sweetness to shine, pop that into a bowl with a wire rack on top and run water on it for about 1 to 2 minutes and then dry it off. Trust me, this seems like a small step, but it makes a massive difference in how much nicer the onions are, both texturally and flavor-wise. Take notes, BK. As for the tomato, you know how I feel. Slice it thin, but not too thin. About 1/3 of an inch will do nicely. And what do we always do? Season your tomato with kosher salt on both sides. This is crucial. If you don't season your tomatoes, I will not come over and watch Batman with you. Is that what you want? Now let those sit for a few minutes so the salt can penetrate the tomato. Now last but not least is our patty. A fat 140 grams of boneless chuck roast and 3/4 of a pound or 340 grams of boneless short rib, both of which are prime for that good marbling. Run that through a meat grinder for 1 pass through, and then 1 more time for a 2nd pass through so you get a finer and more emulsified grind. Then knead that together and you have a beautiful ground beef. Side note, if you do have a stand mixer, please do yourself a favor, get this attachment. The link is in the description. It's not a sponsorship, I just love this thing. If you're not gonna grind it yourself, just get 1.5 pounds of 75% lean or fattier already ground beef. Now form that beef into 1/3 pound patties. Yep, 1/3. Wow, so naughty, Mr. Culinary Boy. You're not gonna do a 1/4 pound? Be sure to make them slightly wider than your buns to account for shrinkage. Now, I feel like Burger King always advertised sort of like a charcoal grilled flavor, so light up a charcoal grill, or any grill for that matter. Have 1 hot side and 1 cold side. And once that's hot, slap your knee, kick a snow globe, that thing is hot. Spray with cooking oil, season your patties generously with salt and pepper, pop that onto the hot side, press a small divot in the center of the patty, then grill that for about 2 minutes or until you get some good color, then flip, hit it with more salt and pepper, and grill on the other side for 2 to 3 more minutes. Move that to the cool side of the grill and repeat with all of your patties. It's time, homies. Assembly time. Get your factory level soft buns, split them in half, and toast them beautifully on both cut sides in a pan with butter. Oh, good lord, look at that. And assemble in this exact order. Bottom bun, a generous spreading of your mayo. I mean, this stuff is insanely good. And yes, I'm a mayo advocate. Please stay away from me if you hate mayo. Add your juiciest fresh ground beef patty, which I've taken the liberty of melting a layer of American cheese on top. Then add a layer of sharp cheddar. Melt that bad boy with a torch or under a broiler. It's sort of like a nice mix of highs and lows with the cheese here. On top of that, arrange your pickles to coat the whole patty, a generous dollop of your spicy ketchup, a decent stack of your thinly sliced washed onion, 1 slice de tomate, a layer of your shredded lettuce, mayo your top bun, and then gently and artfully crown your magnificent king. This might be one of the most beautiful burgers we've assembled on here. That looks like something straight out of a cartoon. Yes, hello, is this the Krusty Krab? Thank you for picking up. Sorry to tell you this, but you've been absolutely dunked on. Speaking of dunking on, let's taste test this and see if we've truly defeated the Whopper.
You tell me which one you want. You want this? You woke up in the morning, you're like, oh, it's lunchtime, and you said, I want this. You should be ashamed. Oh my God. How do you think we did? We won by a landslide. Period, end of story. I'm not even gonna explain it to you. Woo! We're welcoming Pano, his first time. Oh, you're out of frame, buddy.
Oh, I read that wrong.
I'm gonna give you one bite of each, and you have to tell me which one you like more. Number uno. Are you ready? I'm gonna feed it to you. Is that all right? Are you comfortable with that?
Mm-hmm. Just don't get in my stash.
All right, that was number one. Now, moving on to numero two. I'm gonna hold this. Oh my God. That was beautiful. Quite the hunk of a bite. First or second?
Number 2, my lord. The second one was just absolutely popped in my mouth. Props, good sir, props.
We won, but better. Episode, what is it, Vikram?
Whopper, I hardly know her. Cue the applause.
You want to know what else is thick, stacked, and makes you unhinge your jaw like an anaconda to fit it? B-roll.
Hey, like, comment in, subscribe. You want to see me cook a burger? Then like, comment in, subscribe. Comment in, subscribe.